Welcome back to my Mediterranean series, and today we're making a phyllo, spinach, and feta pie. It's super crispy, packed with flavor, and so easy to make. You're gonna start off by slicing half of your onion, and I'm using a white onion, but you could also use yellow onion. This is just what I had on hand. And I'm using 1/3 cup of sun-dried tomatoes. I wouldn't replace this with regular tomatoes because it'll make the pastry soggy. And I'm using about 1.5 tablespoons of the oil from the sun-dried tomatoes, and I'm gonna use that to saute my onions. Saute your onions on medium heat until they're softened and translucent, about 3 to 4 minutes, and then you'll go ahead and add in your baby spinach that has been washed. Once you've cooked your spinach and it has wilted down and some of the moisture has been released, I like to run it through a cheesecloth just to get out that excess moisture. And I like to add a combination of fresh herbs. Sometimes it's whatever I have on hand, so I add some fresh parsley. I'm also going to add in some fresh dill. I think that's the one that I would say is a non-negotiable unless you hate it. And I'm also adding in some fresh chives. And once we've done the prep, our filling comes together super easy. You've got your cooked spinach and onions. I'm adding in my herbs, sun-dried tomatoes. I'm also adding in some feta, and then we're gonna add 2 eggs just to bind the mixture. For the seasoning, I've got some onion powder, garlic powder, oregano, and just a pinch of salt since the feta is pretty salty. I'm using a 9-inch spring foam pan just so that it's easy to remove at the end, and just adding in some olive oil along the bottom and the sides. You can find phyllo dough in the freezer section of the supermarket. You'll just want to thaw it in the fridge and then leave it on the counter for an hour before you use it. And you'll just take one sheet and just place it on the bottom and make sure there's some overlap on the sides, because that's what's going to create that nice pretty top at the end. And very important is to make sure to add olive oil in between each layer. And you'll just repeat this process until you've got 6 layers of phyllo dough, each with a bit of olive oil in between. Final layer, make sure to add in olive oil on the sides and all across the bottom, and you're ready to put in your filling. And I like to fill it up, and then I use like a flat spatula to just go ahead and spread it evenly across. And the last step is super easy. You'll just take the extra phyllo that's hanging off of the sides and then just kind of bring them in and bunch them towards the middle. And then once that's all done, you're just gonna take some olive oil and brush some olive oil all across the top. And you'll bake this in your preheated oven for about 25 to 30 minutes, or until nice and golden brown on top. Let it rest for about 10 minutes and then remove it from the spring foam pan, and you're ready to garnish. I like to garnish with a little bit of chives, but you can also do parsley. And once you dig in, it is super crispy. It's just so delicious with the layers of feta and spinach, and the sun-dried tomatoes give it a little tang as if you had added in some lemon. It's so great. And I like to serve mine with an arugula salad, and I just make a quick dressing with some mustard, olive oil, salt, pepper, and lemon, and it goes so well with this. It's my favorite time of the recipe. Time to taste it. Dig into that. Yes. So good. That is so delicious, and it comes together so easily. You've got the feta cheese with the spinach, and I love the addition of sun-dried tomatoes, though it is optional, and you can play around with the herbs. I did dill and parsley and chives. You can do just dill, it's totally up to you. And sometimes I like to serve it with some tzatziki. I did a quick arugula salad since I hadn't really planned ahead of time, and it is delicious, guys. Now, if you enjoy this, don't forget to check out episode 1 of my Mediterranean series. It's a delicious Mediterranean orzo, and you're gonna love it.